Hey, what's going on, guys? I go by the name of Dan Davis II, and today we're going to be talking all things music. I have my best friend online with me, Mr. Kev Keys. He is a musician. Um, awesome. You guys might want to check his music out for sure. What's up, Kev?
What's up? What's up, man? How's it going?
It's going pretty good. How about you, man?
Going good. Happy to be here.
Yes, sir. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do?
As you said, my name is Kev Keys, but my government, Kevin Ulrich. I just came up with Kev Keys because that's my primary instrument, the piano. When I was doing open mics out here in LA, when I was putting Kevin Ulrich down, people just wouldn't get, like they've always not got my last name correct. So then Kev Keys just kind of came up naturally because I was on the keys. I'm a singer. I produce music. I've created a lot of beats for online clients in the last year and a half, and that's become like a more like lucrative business, like side hustle still, but it's definitely something that I've got momentum going in. I'm also a songwriter. I should have started with that because that's when my love of music started, with songwriting.
With the name Kev Keys, has anybody asked you if you're related to Alicia Keys?
I think somebody made a reference one time. Yep, I think somebody made that reference, and I said, yeah, that's my cousin. So
Gotcha.
we might be related.
How did you discover your love for music?
My first feeling that ever came from music was when I was maybe like 4 years old. On the radio, Blackstreet, "Don't Leave" came on, and that was like the first time that I ever got chills, like from music, like a feeling like it wasn't just a song that was on. It was like a whole reaction. My body was reacting, my mind was reacting, my heart, my spirit, everything was reacting like in a very positive way. Like I just thought it sounded and felt so sweet. The way that it sounded, I was just like, man, dum 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 dum. And I was like, man, who thinks of these things? This is beautiful. I didn't think that when I was 4 years old, but now that I look back, that's what led me into creating music. Is that I love to just pick apart music like that with the way that the choir sounds, or the way that the piano comes in, like those things stand out to me so much. And I think, as my ears become more refined, that's something I can't not hear, are the different parts of the music. And so I think the love just kind of started from just like noticing. We were in a band together, we played
Yeah,
tuba, so that really brought a lot of attention to me, to the bass line of music. And
to this
you
day,
know
man. To this day.
to this, bass lines mean a lot.
For sure.
And like I like different types of music. Some music that exists now is like I don't listen to it all the time, but I listen to it just because I like the way that the bass is being used, the 808s, the way these kids are making these crazy beats to make them sound like a Tetris game mixed in with like trap beat. It's just all kinds of crazy stuff. And you hear with the bass, the way the bass is being used, like it, that's the steady force, and it's the bass and the drums and hip hop. That's what takes us back to Africa.
Yeah.
That feeling, that rhythm,
Yeah.
that
Right.
it means a lot more than just the music. It's what motivates us
Right.
in music.
Yo, you
Yeah.
mentioned Blackstreet, listening to Blackstreet when you were four. Who were some of your inspirations growing up?
I guess it started with like 90s R&B, and then not just R&B, but like anything that was soul, like Backstreet Boys too. I would include them into that because you know what I mean, like that was still love songs, and it was R&B, you know. Um so like early on, I mean, I had all kinds of inspirations. So Boyz II Men, Blackstreet, Janet Jackson, Brandy, Erica Badu.
Mm.
Definitely, I heard a lot of 80s and 70s R&B growing up from my mom, so it would be things like the Commodores or the Gap Band, or the one who did Another Love TKO. I forgot who did that song, but
Teddy Pendergrass?
that
I
I
got his
don't even
record over
know.
here. I got his record over here. I think it is Teddy. I think it's Teddy P.
Stuff like that is like that's probably what I heard the most, in my like early years. And I say early, I'm talking like before 10. When
Mm.
I started to become like a teen going into those years, I think I was more so exposed to like definitely more neo soul type things. Like we talked about Music Soul Child, and
Yeah.
Erica Badu, Jill Scott, like stuff like that. But also, I was introduced to a lot of hip hop during that time too. Like after, because my mom didn't really play that like that. I listened to hip, like we heard Tupac, Biggie, like all that on the radio, but
Yeah.
like to understand or even like to really comprehend hip hop as like a feeling or a movement, it wasn't for me until later. And then to like 12-year old, 13, I started to get into like G Unit and whatever was like popular for me from 2000, whatever that was, 2004, 2000. That's when I started getting that Chingy, all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then I learned more hip hop from that. I got into Talib Kweli and Mos Def and Fonte, Common. I love Common, stuff like that. A lot of hip hop that infuses like that jazz and soul into what they do is still like what I attract to the most to this day. But like that hip hop sound and then those early like R&B, 90s and even 80s and 70s, a lot of those things I think just where I get my inspiration from.
Dope, dope. What was your fondest musical memory?
Is it okay if I give two? I'll
That's
shorten them up.
fine. That's fine.
All right. So I compete. I did one time. Music Soul Child was doing like this online contest for people to cover his song from one of his albums. This was like a couple years ago. So I did it. I did the song. I won that. I got that. Me and another person, we got tickets to go meet Music Soul Child at one of his shows in Oakland, and got to see him backstage and meet him. That's great because I love Music Soul Child. You love Music Soul Child. You know how much that meant. It was an honor, like
Yeah.
for that to happen, like that, in that way. Now another thing that maybe even more magical, but it's in its own lane, was when we played for Michelle Obama and
Yeah. Yeah.
at FAMU.
Yeah.
And Michelle Obama, like, she's probably one of my favorite people as a person. Like,
Yeah. That was a really dope experience. I think also just that time period, because that was the first Barack Obama was the first black president. And I
right.
remember this is before my grandma passed. Like when I told her that we were performing for the Obamas, she cried. She was like, "Oh man, like we never had a black president before." And like
History being made right then and there.
for
Like,
sure, for sure.
we lived in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you describe your music?
Okay. I just do whatever I want to do. That's
Yeah.
that's how I describe, like, but I like to play around with like new sounds that don't necessarily like you hear all the time, like different types of voices or different types of strings or like funny sounding pianos. And if I were to combine, because there's hip hop in there for sure,
Mhm.
and then there's neo soul and jazz for sure. But overall, can be like considered groovy and chill. Those
Mm.
are that's a lot of times what I come back to is, does it have a bump to it, a groove to it, and or is it relaxed and does it flow?
Right.
I don't really make like hard aggressive beat. I make trap beats for people, but
Mhm.
that's not my music.
Right.
That's probably
So
the best way
so
to put it.
what songs would you recommend people listen to by you?
All of them, every last one.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, me too. Me too. Definitely, definitely.
uh,
Kev, tell the people where they can find you on the socials.
Kev.Keys. That's where you can find me on Instagram. My music is all online, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, what's the Amazon Music.
All right, man. Well, it was a pleasure speaking with you. All right, this is Dan Davis signing out. Peace.